welcome to another FOTN review. This is for the fight of the night that happened at UFC 251 at the Fight Island that Dana bought in the Flash Forum at in the city of Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates. So yeah, the fight of the night in question was not the main event as I had wrongly predicted yesterday, but one of the fights on the main card between Rose Namajunas and Jessica Andrade. And as always, I try to break it down round by round as best as I can, and just try and give a consensus of how good I thought the fight was. And obviously, I spoil the results, so I'll just spoil it now. Rose Namajunas won by split decision. Contrast to the last fight where she lost in the second round via knockout because Jessica Andrade slammed her, and that fight is also the one where Andrade won the Strawweight title from Namajunas before Zhang Weili won it from Andrade. So, yeah, not a title in this rematch, but imagine if there was, that'd be kind of cool. But the fight we got was pretty decent, and I'll get into why now. So the fight begins, and the two fighters close in on each other, and one noticeable thing is how much Andrade is moving her head around. She's doing a lot of head movement, trying to make use of her shorter height, which is not something I ever thought I'd see a fighter do, using their height disadvantage to their advantage. She made it very difficult for Rose to actually land anything, and because Andrade was bobbing and weaving so much and ducking under, she was coming around laying some really good body hooks, but Namajunas was, she was reticent at first, but she did manage to land some really good jabs, especially with the right hand. The right hand jab was there pretty much all day in the first round. There were some good leg kick exchanges, but a lot of it was the exchange with the hands. Andrade landed some really good body shots, followed that up with some good hooks to the head of Namajunas, but Namajunas was she eventually started pressing the action a bit more around the midway part of round two. And there were some pretty exciting scraps, especially one when Namajunas did land some really good combos, a really lovely 1-2 combo on Andrade, and did sag her a little bit, but not a lot. Andrade kept ducking and weaving and bobbing, and eventually the first round comes to a close, and it is quite close actually. Andrade does more head movement, and she is evading a lot in the first instances of the round. But Rose does actually sort of come back near the end of the round, so I'd probably give round one slightly a bit more to Rose. It did take her a while. It did take a while for her to find a footing, but when she did, she was pretty much pitch perfect and showed a really lovely technical side, which she has always had. So yeah, it was a pretty solid first round. Round two starts, and it is sort of more of the same as what Rose was pulling away with in round one. She was walking down. Andrade a bit more using a height advantage, using a reach advantage, landing some really good jabs, landing some really good hook combos as well. And that's pretty much the main story of round two, up until the halfway point of it, about 2 minutes 39 seconds in or something, or rather 2 minutes and 21 seconds in. Yes, I get the timing confused quite a lot, but Andrade lands a brutal body hook, then follows up with a head hook, and I think those are the biggest shots that Andrade lands throughout the entire fight, and she does sort of start pulling away with round two at this point. She is following up a lot more on her strikes and throwing a lot more hooks as well. She's not doing as much avoiding, which is probably part of why she lost, because she wasn't, because she hurt Rose, she didn't really see the point in trying to evade a lot of Rose's strikes anymore, so she sort of let herself get hit from time to time, but she still showed really good ability. Round two, much like round one, was very close. I think I slightly give it to Andrade because she landed probably the biggest shots of the entire fight in round two. And it was all in all, a pretty solid exchange. Once again, just really great showcase of technical striking from both, with Andrade landing the heavier shots by a comfortable mile, I think. And then we get to round three, and it is, again, sort of more of the same, although we do actually start to see some more grappling sort of exchanges, because throughout the entire fight up until this point in round three, it had mostly been stand-up. There really wasn't any clinch attempts or takedown attempts until round three. There might have been a brief clinch in round two, I don't recall. But yeah, there was a moment in round two where they sort of closed in on each other, and one of the things that Rose was looking for the entire fight, because she's the taller fighter, is a jumping knee. And that is easy to land against an opponent who's about 4 inches shorter than you. And she threw it quite a bit. She didn't really fully land it flush, but she did a good one to the body in round three, which was really lovely. But there is a point where they have an exchange, and I don't remember how it happens, but Andrade lands a hook of some sort, and it busts up Rose's nose and like causes swelling on her left eye, to the point where after the fight, because when I was looking for the fight, obviously I saw the reports and stuff, she needed some surgery to get that sort of sorted out. So that was I don't know if she needed surgery. She just had to go to the hospital for it, because it was a pretty nasty looking nose break. Probably one of the nastiest ones I've seen in a woman's fight at the very least. Yeah, like both women started to come with it, even though Rose was pretty badly busted up at some point in round 3. She didn't stop. There was a moment where she went for a sort of flying move. Andrade should have like avoided it, and Rose slipped and landed on her back, but she rolled back up to her feet pretty well. She tried to land a takedown at some point on Andrade, but Andrade turned that into a clinch. Then Rose actually landed a takedown on Andrade, which didn't last long. Andrade is actually really good on the ground. She gets out of the takedown really easily, and they're both standing up and they're both just like scrapping. There's some really good scrap moments throughout the entire fight, but I don't think there was any more than in round 3. Like in round 3 there was probably the most, and there was a lot of fighting in the pocket, a lot of real close exchanges. Andrade was sort of pulling away most of them, but Rose was definitely starting to land a fair bit more of a clip near the end of round 3 as well. So round 3 was unbelievably close, but obviously Rose won for good reason. I definitely feel like she won here. She opened a lot of really good opportunities with the leg kicks and landed a really good bunch of outside strikes as well, just like staying out of the range when she could, only getting in when she absolutely needed to, and yeah, just a really good scrap, really good exchanges between the two. And that concludes round 3 and the fight in general. So all in all, I think this fight was better than their last one. I know it's Rose's first fight in over a year since she lost to Andrade actually. Because they were supposed to rematch back in April, but Rose pulled out for an undisclosed reason. So yeah, we never got the rematch until more recently, as in literally last night. So yeah, it was a pretty good fight. I don't think it's going to be in my top 10. Especially in like how good women's fights have gotten in 2020. I feel like this is on the lowest scale, but I feel like it was better than the first fight from what little I remember of that, and I feel like this was still a pretty good scrap. I mean, it was an entertaining bout, and both women proved why they're as good as they are. I feel like with how good Rose did here, and because she got the win, if she puts together a pretty good string of wins, she could be a strawweight champion again, or it could be Andrade. I would like to see a third fight between these two to see if there's a trilogy that could conclude, because both their fights have been good, but they need that third one to just sort of like really send them both, because it's not really a proper rivalry in women's sports like Rousey and Tate. It needs to be like, yeah, it's a friendly rivalry in the women's side of the UFC, and I would like to see a third fight between these two. I think that would be great. So that'll about do it for this review. I thought it was a rather entertaining fight between these two. Not going to be in my top 10, but still really enjoyable, still a fun bout, still really liked it. You'll probably see me on Tuesday for the next PPW episode. I've still got to actually put the card together for that, but I've done most of the other stuff I said I'd do. Readjusted the roster, sorted the tag teams out. That was fun to do. Did one arena, I'm not going to tell you which one, and redid the titles as well. But enough about that. I'll see you all on Tuesday, and as always, thank you for watching. You're awesome. Bye bye.